guys. Wednesday. And girls, avid watchers of YouTube, enthusiasts, and car repair wannabes alike. This is what we got going on today. Yesterday I worked on roughing in this bodywork over here on the hood of this Cruze and getting that fender ready so that I could paint it. Here's what we got. Feels nice and contoured. It's got a little bit of a convex here, or concave, so it dips down in the middle, but then it goes convex here so it bubbles up. That took some time, probably about an hour and a half worth of blocking on that, monkeying with it. This one right here, there was a little high spot in the middle and a low spot that went over to here and a little low spot here. You can see there's some 80 grit scratches. That's all filled in with polyester putty that I blocked so thin that all you see is the putty and the scratch. I don't like blocking it back quite so far, but I was having a hell of a time. This hood kind of goes like this, just a little bit. That was way more pronounced than it really is. So I've already gone over it. There's my DA with a soft interface pad, and that's 320 grit. Chasing away any 80 or 180 scratches that might be in this paint. A 180 scratch in the filler doesn't hurt you as bad as a 180 scratch in the paint does, from my experience. The ones in the paint will swell up like a son of a bitch. So that's always been a peeve of mine and a problem I've had in the past, and we're working toward not having those problems. So that is ready to go. I have scuffed all my edges in the primer zone, so I will probably have primer. You can see my little dirty fingerprint in there going all the way to back here where I burned through to the factory sealer. Okay, I will backmask these edges and I'm going to show you how I do it. I've got to wipe the panel down first, but I want to show you this fender. This is what I ended up with. It was hard to see yesterday, but they're not perfectly oval holes, but they're not bad. And that ground effect trim comes up to about here. You can see on that side, right about just below the emblem. So this will all be covered up, but I am going to prime it and feather it out. I did run the DA over this whole fender with a soft interface pad and some 800 grit. Make sure there wasn't any damage in it. I felt it, but sometimes, you know, blocking over it real quick with that will help show anything else up. This one does not appear to have any damage, which is a big one of those. I hate having to fix a fender that I just bought brand new, but it happens. It happens more often than you think. So I'm going to wipe it down. You guys saw this when I prepped the bumper cover last week that I had yet to paint. Grab a few supplies here. This kind, water-based greaser, De Beer brand, some gloves, couple white balls, the normal shtick for those of you who always tune in. For those of you who are new, before I started this panel, I wiped it down with wax and grease removing solvent. Go back to my older videos, check them out. I've done tons of videos on this, but I want to make sure that there's no detailing foo-foo on there before we ever start putting sanding scratches in it, whether it's just a scuff it for blend or primer or bodywork or any of the above. Don't need any issues. So I'm going to wipe this off real quick. And I'm going to speed this part of the video up so you guys don't have to sit here and deal with it. I will not wipe over that body filler. I will only wipe the panel. So here we go. Well, I didn't want to have a long, arduous process of wiping this panel down, so this is sped up to about 4 times speed, and I'm just going over the whole thing with that water-based wax and grease removing solvent. At this point of this game, I really don't like to introduce any more solvent-based products to things unless I happen to have dirty hands and touch something, but I try not to get into greasy things when it comes to doing body work sort of in between processes here. So this is just a quick wipe down with that, and all should be well here. I didn't notice anything beating up on it when I wiped this down. You know, wipe on with one rag, wipe off till it's dry with the other to avoid streaks, and that's about it. So we'll move right on to the next. Alright, we're going to go ahead and mask up the back of this hood, back mask it. So I'm just kind of outlining it with some of my 2-inch tape here, or 1.5-inch tape. I can't remember which it is. It might be 1.5 inch. Doing the outline with the sticky side out, and you'll see here in a second why I do this. It works real well for me to do it this way, kind of pull it back from the edge, and I'll go ahead and stick the paper that's come off the masking machine right to it. That really works well. And I just go around and outline everything as such. You just got to be careful when you're putting sticky side to sticky side on the tape. Sometimes it grabs real quick. And here I'm flipping the paper upside down so that you get a soft edge when you go ahead and prime. And we try not to spray right up to that. I've masked it a little wide. So that's what this part of the segment is all about. So just kind of outlining it like that, and with that paper kind of lightly folded back like that, it doesn't leave a hard edge of primer, because primer tends to build up rather quickly, and if you sprayed to that edge every time with just a piece of tape there, eventually you'd bridge over that piece of tape. So that's not really what we're aiming for here. We want a nice soft edge so that when I go to block the primer out and get it ready for paint, that we don't have to deal with, you know, a big lip and then you block real hard on that and then run the risk of blocking through, say, the clear coat surrounding it, and that's not good either. So again, that's why we do this. I have a masking machine there that I use. You guys have probably seen that before, so that's why I do it this way. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get some primer mixed up here. This is the Valspar DTM primer. I just recently switched to Valspar products. I was formerly using the Matrix product, but I cannot obtain them at my jobber anymore, so we've moved on to a new paint line. I'm using the De Beer Barrow Base 500, which is a solvent-based base coat, so I kind of like using all of one system when I can. This one particular primer is a direct-to-metal. Again, direct to metal, probably anything under the size of a dollar bill. If it's too big, you definitely want to get some etch primer on it. This is a 4:1 to 1 part reducer, so 4 parts primer, 1 part activator, 1 part reducer. Seems to work pretty good. I've used this in the past. I used Valspar products a long time ago, but they've changed a lot, and I just recently started using this system, and I'm back to using this primer, so this is what we got. I'm going to be using the DeVilbiss Finish Line 3 gun you see hanging in the hanger there with the 1.8 fluid tip in it, and we'll be spraying it at about 18 psi. I think max psi on that gun happens to be 23. You certainly don't need that high of pressure for a primer like this. This is not a super thick high build primer. It's kind of what I would call a medium high build, not as thick as like a polyester or anything like that. So it works good for spot repairs and things like that, but I suppose if you're going to be doing a restoration type job where you're really trying to block a large panel straight, you would probably be better off using something more like a polyester or a high build primer where you can really get some build to it. But I only mixed up, I want to say, about 4 or 5 ounces here. I think I mixed to the 3 mark on the cup, which isn't a whole lot when you're in the 4:1 to 1 category. Once I put the reducer in it, it was a little thinner than I thought it was going to be, so we'll see how it lays out here. This is the first time I've sprayed this in probably 7 or 8 years, and I'm sure they've changed the formula since then. So we'll find out how it's all going to work out, and you know, wish me luck, guys. We'll see what happens here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and lay this primer down. Now the first coat, I don't really pound on there. It looks fairly wet, but truth be told, it's not terribly heavy. One thing about putting your primer on too heavy on your first coat, it can lift up edges or map out repairs. It's better to put it on not quite as wet. This is probably medium wet. This isn't really hammered on there, so I'm going to go ahead and put 2 coats on this and see where we're at. Of course, I walk off camera to put a coat on the fender to cover up those holes. And here's coat 2. I mean, really, this is real time, real speed. 15-minute flash off between coats. You don't see it on the camera, but I do have off frame a infrared heat lamp that I had set way up just to kind of keep the panel temperature up, maybe around 75-80 degrees. When the panel temperature is real cold, your flash off times kind of go through the roof here and can also cause you problems that you don't want. Now notice that I'm not really spraying all the way out to that paper. You spray the first coat past your repair area a couple inches and bring your next coat in a little bit to just cover your repair. So that's kind of it for getting this primed, and we'll have another video for you on the rest of the project.